Subchapter 2.5. Above all, do not nod off. Princess Proxima stood in line behind the Dax, the Emai word for father, interchangeable with king or emperor. That was her place, in line. Standing in silence with 2 brothers and 1 sister, nearly the entire line of ascension. 1 brother was missing, but Proxima considered his absence a blessing, a relief from his constant agitation and restlessness. As the firstborn, the next in line to the Provenance throne, she was expected to appear at these functions and ceremonies. Not so much the lastborn. He was forgettable. As Proxima's presence was expected at these events, media attention would often shift in her direction even if she were not in the spotlight giving the address, such as this day. Much attention was given to the clothes she wore, her hairstyle, her shoes, the makeup on her face, if she smiled too much or too little, the person with whom she spoke, or the one who seemed to be ignored. If she appeared fatigued and at risk of nodding off during one of her father's speeches, they would notice. Before she returned to her quarters, the entire galaxy would be buzzing with gossip that Proxima Sen Ra was bored of the Dax, and what it could mean when the day came when she ascended the throne. Just do not nod off. Not here, not in the royal reception chamber with the galaxy watching. A quiet chirping at Proxima's wrist drew her attention. Years of self-discipline kept her eyes forward, her movements slow and barely perceptible. She turned her wrist a fraction, hardly bent her head down, and cast her eyes at the tech at her wrist, a mere glance. She had switched off her communication implants, as she did not want to be disturbed. Everyone had them. Named oral comms by the manufacturer, the implants were very useful for sending and receiving messages and calls via harmonic entanglement transmitter, interstellar communication made easy. They were also effective translators, converting most of the languages on Earth and in the galaxy into the user's native tongue. Created by nanobots on a microscopic scale and built up to the size of a small coin, the devices were located on the bone directly above the middle ear on both the right and left sides. They were controlled by the user's thoughts for on-off, volume, and frequency. For Proxima, the setting for her orals that brought her the most happiness and satisfaction was off. However, her handheld device, in the form of the bracelet on her wrist, still sent notifications of incoming messages. Chirp, 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 chirp. Him again. Proxima wondered if, by allowing her younger brother to occupy a corner of her thoughts for a short time, her stray musings had somehow prompted him to reach out to her. He must be asking for money again, she thought. A new starship must have caught his eye. Or perhaps he was calling for bail money to get him out of jail after an all-nighter. Funny how he would disappear for weeks at a time, then pop up with a request for a favor, money, or to get him out of whatever trouble he managed to get himself into. Once, someone had called him a synthy because of his obsession with androids, and he asked Proxima to send a detail from the Garrison Command, the personal guard of the Sen Ras, to perform a gangland-style hit on his antagonist. She denied his request. Let him wait. Proxima kept her eyes forward. Between Bryce and her father's droning discourse, she surprised herself that she had found a sliver of interest in these 10 former slaves who stood behind the Dax in a neat row, each one strategically and thoughtfully placed. Even after regaining their freedom by rescue, escape, or negotiation, the 6 men and 4 women were unaware that they were still being used and still owned, this time willingly. Their faces beamed rays of gratitude toward their leader as he spoke at the podium, as they were instructed. Proxima felt the footman's quiet presence behind her left shoulder before he spoke. Your Highness, your brother requests to speak to you. The footman kept his words a bare murmur, heard by no one but Proxima herself. According to him, it concerns an urgent matter. She nodded, once, slightly. Of course, it was always an urgent matter. The footman stepped back and faded into the background. Proxima held her place in line, head up, eyes forward. Let there be no misunderstanding. The Dax droned on, his voice turning resolute. The position of the provenance is clear. Our purpose, unwavering. The blight of slavery in this galaxy will be completely eradicated from provenance space. This heinous activity will not be tolerated, and those who are involved in the practice of buying and selling provenance citizens will be hunted down and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Proxima's wrist chirped again. No matter who you are, from the highest to the lowest, you have been given notice. You are not safe. The provenance is dedicated to the goal of making the galaxy a safe and prosperous neighborhood in which you may pursue your interests. Travel wherever you desire without the threat of falling prey to the pirate scourge. Despite their celebrated status as freed slaves, these provenance citizens turned government foils board Proxima. Whatever the nature of Bryce's urgent matter, she could at least use his timely interruption to put distance between her and this manufactured media event. Those brave individuals standing behind me, having faced that very scourge themselves, stand as a testament to humanity's desire for peace and freedom, virtues which the provenance advocates. Proxima saw her chance and retreated from the line with creeping steps, fading into the shadows like a ghost. She slipped out and hurried down the palace halls, her personal assistants rushing to catch up. But Proxima waved them off. She took the nearest lift. Family residence. Proxima resisted the urge to switch on her orals. She could not assure herself that she could control her temper and not make a scene in front of the house staff, even inside the lift. In addition to privacy, the communications console in her room had the advantage of projecting the caller's image. The lift ran on an invisible track on the exterior of the palace wall, rising upward, then detached itself from the track and soared to a nearby building, reattaching itself with grace and finesse to another unseen track. Proxima strode out of the lift and marched to her quarters, again waving off an onslaught of assistants who sensed something was amiss. Behind closed doors, alone, Proxima activated her comms console. Bryce's message was at the top of the list, with an indicator showing that he was online. She tapped it. "What do you want now, Bryce?" Proxima snapped. "Proxy, that you?" came the high, nervous voice across the speakers. Bryce's image materialized above the projector, head and shoulders. He was young, not more than 20. Proxima noticed his hairstyle had changed again. Seemed to be something new each time she saw him. Now his hair was short on the right side, and blue, long on the left, and red. His green eyes bore witness to his unease. Proxima ignored all that. "You got me out of a very important meeting with Father. This had better be good." "Oh, don't tell Dad." "What did you do now?" "Well, I'm kinda in a fix." "I know that. The only time you call is when you're in a fix. Now how much are you asking?" "How much?" Proxima's fingers dug into the back of the chair on which her hands gripped, her patience wearing thin. "How much money? How much is this going to cost the family?" Bryce avoided her ice-cold gaze. He looked to one side, then the other. "Well, kinda a lot." Proxima let out a sigh. "What did you buy this time? Another starship? You bought something, didn't you?" "Yeah, kinda. How much are you asking?" 328. 328,000? You've got that. Why are you calling me?" "Not thousand." Bryce winced as if expecting a slap from his sister across the light years between them. Proxima's face went slack, hating the direction this call was going. A crease appeared between her brows. "What?" "Million. I need 328 million. If you can wire that over—" "Bryce, what did you do?" "If I can't come up with the money before the end of the day, they said they're gonna go public." "What do you mean, go public?" Proxima's head swirled with confusion mixed with indignation. Her voice burned in Bryce's ears. "You bought another starship for $328 million, and you want me to cover your sorry ass because you're short on funds? Absolutely not." You're on your own this time, Bryce. Don't expect the family to bail you out again until you learn to be more responsible with your money. I didn't buy a starship. Proxima's head still swirled.
What then? What?
They're threatening to go public. Everyone will know. Her patience snapped. Bryce! Proxima's bark sent a jolt through Bryce. Okay, I bought... Here, better I show you. As Proxima's eyes glared at him, Bryce's image faded from view. After a moment of empty space, a woman's face appeared before Proxima, a still image like a photograph. Proxima froze and stared at the woman who stared back. She looked about her age, maybe a little younger, blonde, blue-eyed. But fear and uncertainty lay behind those eyes, an unsettling sea of emotions that struck Proxima's heart, silencing the outrage that had burned within her moments before. The woman wore a loose gray top with a crudely cut neckline sewn from a piece of coarse material like a burlap sack, the type of garment made for slaves. Proxima could not take her eyes off the woman's face. She chose her words with great care. Bryce, please tell me. She's an android. No, human. Proxima's eyes widened as she attempted to utter more words, but all she could manage was a prolonged groan. She felt herself falling forward and tightened her grip on the chair to stay on her feet. Bryce sensed his sister's struggle. Her name is Sarah.